All right, this is a women's rap. Let's have some fun. Woo! Yes! So we've got Sarah and Rita, who are both going to speak, and Sarah's going first.
All right. Sarah. Well, that is Sarah. I'm a recovering addict, and my name is Sarah.
Hey, Sarah.
I'm really grateful to be here. My heart is coming out of my chest. I feel like I need to just say that out loud, and maybe it'll alleviate some of the anxiety. But really, it's an excitement. All right, I'm not really nervous. I've been clean. February 4th, 2009 is my clean date. Right? Yeah. I just celebrated 11 years clean. Right? And I've had the honor and the privilege to do a couple of women's raps over the years. And I am so passionate about sharing my experience, strength, and hope, especially to women. So I'm so grateful right now. I'm like beside myself. I want to thank the convention committee for asking me to come out here, because sharing it takes a risk, right, to ask somebody to share. And so, there goes the mojo. There goes the mojo. And the literature also says that sharing can be risky at times. And so me being up here, I automatically, and I like what Sarah was sharing this morning about, us being vulnerable, and me up here just wanting to be authentic and transparent, right? And just be myself. Like, my intention here really isn't to make you guys laugh or make you cry. It's just for me to be who I am, right? Now, laughter's probably going to happen because I'm corny, right? Tears are probably going to happen because I've been through some trauma, and I have no problem sharing about that today. But the main thing, right, before I go any further, I do want to thank the convention committee. I know the mojo got messed up, but this is an honor and a privilege for me to be up here sharing my experience, strength, and hope. It says the theme for this convention is together, one fellowship, one family. And that is how I live today, right? It's how I live. I have one fellowship. You guys are absolutely my family, maybe not in blood, but absolutely in spirit. I don't know if I have ADHD. I know that I get confused and I lose track of what it is that I'm saying. I was talking about that authenticity, right? Yep. Talking about wanting to be transparent up in here. And so by doing so, I'm going to have to share some things that happened to me that weren't that great, right? And the first thing that I want to share with you guys is that, trauma is a part of my story. I was molested. I was abused from a young child.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Hold on until you get a safe place. Because it's not safe right now. It's not safe right now.
I'm not safe right now. I need to make this a safe way.
Can I help you, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. Thanks, God. There we go. That's what we need. It's all right.
Canton. Yeah, it's the Boston accent. Yeah.
Okay. Can I get one of those too?
Yes.
All right, let's pull it back in. Moment of silence.
She's starting over. Wow. All right. Thank you for the hugs. So coming from a family where there were some unhealthy things that took place, it absolutely instilled in me some feelings that included not good enough. I started to feel like I was different from everybody else. always felt like I was alone. I felt like I didn't matter. And I'm not saying that everybody in my family or, people that I had in my life at this time, I'm not saying that they treated me that way. What I'm saying is, as a result of a couple of certain instances and circumstances, I started to feel that way about myself. Right? So I just want to make that clear. Like, my mom, she really did do the best she could with what she had. Right? She was a heavy drinker. She invited many different men into our home. My mom sold drugs. I was a little runner for her. But I still believe she was doing the best she could with what she had. It was one of the first people that violated me was one of her boyfriends. And I know that a lot of women in here can identify with that. And Amber, I love you so much.
Love you too.
A lot of women can identify with being violated as children, right? But I think even beyond that violation, the violation that I felt, and thank God for step work, right? The violation that I felt when my mom told me she didn't believe me hurt even more than what was happening to me. Because, I'm a firm believer in relationships today, especially when it comes to the relationships with our children.
Right.
Like, I have a 12-year-old daughter, and I get to a point in my thinking where, that could potentially happen to her too, but it doesn't get that far, because I can't even imagine. And because I can't even imagine, that's how I come to realize that my mom had to say it didn't happen because she couldn't imagine something like that happen to her daughter. And so because I've come to that conclusion within my head, I've been able to be okay and I've been able to practice forgiveness. Right? I don't even understand you, Troy. Hey, I'm going to tell you something. I love that man, right? Men and women do recover. That man right there is like my dancing partner. We get it when we're at conventions, right? You guys taught me how to have platonic relationships, right? And I'm married. My husband loves Troy.
Right.
It's crazy. But back to that other stuff. Especially with my daughter. So my active addiction, it really took off when I was 26 years old. All right. Prior to 26 years old, I partied. I had some fun. I had a lot of fun. But there was a point where I had to use, right? It was no longer an option. Like, I had to get what was inside that little blue bag for a couple of different reasons. And like, the main reason was because if I didn't have it, I was physically sick. So I needed it to keep going. And then another reason was that when I did it, I was numb. Right? Another reason was that when I did it, I didn't have to feel, I didn't have to think about anything else except for what was in that little blue bag. It solved a lot of my life problems. So I thought. Right? So I thought. I was under this illusion. I started living in this fantasy land that, like, I was going to be okay. I succumbed to the fact that, like, I was a dope fiend. I was a crackhead. I stood on corners just to get one more, and I became very familiar with that lifestyle. Very familiar with that lifestyle, ladies. I will never, ever forget one of the times that I was in jail. I think it was the very first time that I found myself locked up. My oldest son, who's 26 now, he was 8 years old at the time. My other son, who's 22, was 4 years old at the time. And my 8-year-old is coming in this jail to see me behind plexiglass. And during one of the first visits that he had with him, and I'm so damn selfish, I'm crying because I miss him. Right? And he says these words to me, "Mom, I love you. And a child will never lose their love for their parent." He said that to me at 8, and he has stuck to those words. I promise you, and it is only because of the program. Like, listen, man, I was out of his life for 5 years after that. being in jail, they had given me an opportunity. They told me to go to a treatment center. And when I got to my first treatment center out on parole, I'm a good addict, right? In my thinking, don't you know who I think I am? I want my kids back. I'm their mom. Nobody else has the right to raise them. And because things didn't happen as quickly as I wanted them to happen, I started doing my own thing again. And when Sarah does her own thing, Sarah gets high. Right? When Sarah does her own thing, man, Sarah gets high, and that's what ended up happening. And it was after that time that I became homeless. And if anybody knows or is from or has been to Boston, Massachusetts, in September, October, November, December, January, February, it's cold. It's cold. All right? I have 2 clean dates, right? Because relapse is a part of my story, and both of my clean dates have been in February, right? I surrendered in the snow. Man. Oh, you know what? Hey, this is another thing that I wanted to say when I first started. I'm here to have fun. All right? If this offends anybody, this shit is fun to me, man. I never imagined that I would not only be up here yelling, right, in front of a bunch of people, I never imagined that I would simply be talking with people. Mm-hmm. Some people, especially my sponsees in the room right now, they know a big part of the reason why I did have a hard time talking in front of people. I used to have a lisp, right? I used to talk like that. And I had to do, and not that there's anything wrong with it. I'm not judging. I'm just saying, it was embarrassing for me. And I had to do speech therapy. And I also, at 15 years old, I had a boyfriend that told me that I looked prettier when I wasn't talking. And so again, that instilled a bunch of low self-esteem within me, right? So I had a hard time talking with people and sharing in front of people. That's not the story anymore. Right? That's not the story anymore. My story has been rewritten, and it's absolutely amazing, right? And I'm almost, I don't want to guarantee that it's going to end up really good, but I have a really good feeling that it's going to end up really good. That's right. That's right, Sarah. You guys have introduced me into this thing that I never, ever knew about. Right? Being a member of Narcotics Anonymous and you guys showing me a different way to live has been absolutely amazing. I'm going to go back to my daughter real quick for a second, just for, the hope is for some identification, right? Because this is where I got my first piece of identification, was in these rooms, when another woman had said that she had a son that was born a result of a trick. Right? That was a secret that I was going to keep. I wasn't going to let anybody know that stuff, man, because who does that? Right? Who does that? Who's out sucking dick and fucking and all this stuff and getting pregnant? Who does that? An addict, man. Right? You're looking at her. And again, because of that step work, it goes a little further, though. I found out that I was pregnant with my daughter one of the times when I went into jail. They give us the drug screen, right? The pregnancy test and all that stuff. And it came up that I was pregnant. And I was like, oh, no. You better take that test again. There's no way that I'm pregnant. I was pregnant. I spent 5 months of that pregnancy in jail. They put me on medicated assisted treatment. And if you're on it, please keep coming back because we need you. Please keep coming back because we need you. We ask that you come back clean. Those 5 months, right? Those 5 months I had got connected with this higher power. And I wasn't exactly sure what was going on with this higher power, right? I know that I started feeling something different because before this I was God. I was the reason that everything was happening. And I made a couple of decisions. They had some church people come into jail, all right? I didn't see H&I at that time, but they had these other church people that would come into jail, and they would pray and all this stuff, and I'm like, ooh, I'm getting these really good feelings. I'm going to make some better decisions. I wasn't addressing the disease of addiction that I had, and the day that I got out of that jail, I had a crack pipe in my mouth, 5 months pregnant, running again. With this little girl growing in my belly, angry when she's moving and I'm trying to take a hit because you're ruining my high. You know, the grace of God entered my life again on February 26, 2006, okay? 2007. My daughter was born in April. The grace of God entered my life on February 26, 2007. When that cop saw me prostituting with snow up to my knees, asking me what I was doing. And you know, we have to lie, right? I'm homeless, and I'm telling him I live right up the street. I'm just going home. I remember this stuff like it was yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Like wearing this big black jacket to cover my stomach because none of these chicks can know that I'm pregnant, because if they know that I'm pregnant, I ain't going to get that 50 or that 5. Really don't matter how much I'm going to get. I'm just not going to get it if they know that I'm pregnant. You know, and so when I got down to the station and I took my jacket off, and we talk about, like, even the literature talks about it, actually. The literature talks about how we get to that animalistic level, right? Like, that's a part of my story, man. I was eating out of dumpsters. I was jumping in and out of cars. I was panhandling for money. I was sleeping with rats crawling over my face. You know what I'm saying? I was picking up dirty needles on the side of the road, shooting drugs behind people that had HIV and hepatitis C. I'm talking about low-bottom junkie. And when I took my jacket off, and that police officer looked at me, and when I say that I didn't have human experiences, like I didn't. It was, you know, my relationships with people it consisted of these 3 words, these 3 sentences. How much is it? Where is it? And it better not be a beat bag. That's what we talked about. You didn't look at me as a person, but this officer looked at me and he was like, what is the matter with you? What are you doing? And that was it. Something happened. Like I wanted to stop making better decisions, right? A couple months later, I'm on that medication, and I went into the hospital. It was supposed to be for a routine checkup, and they told me that day that I had to give birth to my daughter. And of course, you know, the disease of addiction, it's self-centeredness, right? And I'm saying to the doctors, don't you know where I am? I'm talking about how sick we can be, man. Like, don't you know where I am? If I give birth to her, I'm going back to jail. What's going to happen with my daughter? Like, no, this can't happen. God has a different plan. I know, man. He told me I was getting tight with him. Thank God there's a God and I'm not it. Thank God there's a God and I'm not it, right? Like, my daughter ended up staying at Boston Medical Center for 28 days. I finished out, you know, the rest of the time in jail, and I got paroled out. And on this day that I got paroled out, now I know that you guys can identify with this, right? Like, after I gave birth to my daughter, they stopped giving me that medication. So we're talking about 2-3 weeks later, I'm sick. I'm coming off, I'm physically withdrawing, I am ill. And in Boston, right, the jail that I was in is right across the street from Boston Medical Center, but the clinic is right over there, and then Flacco's right over here. And when I tell you, this is probably one of the most amazing spiritual experiences that I have ever had. I knew, like, deep down in the bottom of my heart that I wanted to be a mom to that little girl. Like, I knew that I really wanted to start doing something different. Like, I didn't want to be that junkie anymore. But the disease of addiction was telling me, Sarah, just go get one. Just go get one more, just so you can get off feet. Just so you can get off feet. And then you can go to see your daughter. And then you can go to parole. And then you can go to the halfway house, right? And I don't know if some people have heard about this thing like 4951, right? Like 4951, man. If 51% of you want to stay clean, you're going to stay clean. And I believe that day I was 51% over that line, like I wanted to stay clean. And the God of my understanding carried me. He carried me from that jail across the street to Boston Medical Center, where I was full of shame, I was full of guilt, I was a junkie, and all these nurses were taking care of my daughter. They were holding her, they were feeding her, they were giving her this medication, and I was in jail. All these voices in my head telling me, you ain't never going to be good enough, but God, listen, man, the God of my understanding, his voice was louder than anything that disease of addiction had to say to me, man. And I put my head up, I walked to that hospital, I went upstairs and I held my daughter. And that day, I got introduced to the most amazing program that I had ever seen in my life, and it's called Narcotics Anonymous, right? In that program, they took me to some meetings. And they took me to some meetings, and I was like, I don't want to go. I'm tired. I don't want to go. And you know what? It was in Cambridge, Massachusetts, right downtown Boston. And it was in this basement. And I saw all these people. I'm pretty sure I was the only white person there, right? But I'm all right. I'm all right. Trust me, I'm all right with that. And I walked down there, and you people are hugging each other. You're smiling. You're encouraging one another. I'm going to say that I was a little bit taken aback by what I saw, right? Like I was a little bit confused about what was going on. Like I was telling myself that these people are lying. Like I know that they're getting high. You know, as to everybody that goes outside, they're just sticking one in real quick and then they're coming back, right? Like this is what my mind was telling me. I couldn't. There was a part of me that wanted to believe that you guys were doing what you say you were doing. But there was another part of me, just because I didn't know, right? Like I didn't know how to stay clean. You know, and that introduction to Narcotics Anonymous, for a little while, it definitely did have some effect on me. But the literature talks about how if we're not vigilant about what we're thinking, what we're doing, we're about to repeat. Yeah. And I got about 22 months clean with you guys. And then after that, I didn't need you anymore. Because some stuff started happening without my permission, right? Some stuff started happening without my permission. I got my life back. Those boys came back into my life. I got a job. I got a little car, a little hoopty. Little cell phone with a plan. Right? A cell phone with a plan. That was a dream in active addiction. You know, and because I started making some really bad decisions, I ended up using again. You know, that relapse lasted about 28 days. And as I said, you guys showed up once again, man. Like, you guys showed up for me. I found myself back in treatment. I had some amazing, amazing people in my life. A pastor of my church and his wife took my daughter so that I could get some help. They watched her, they cared for her. I'm going to tell you, like, one of the most challenging things through that time being back in treatment was when that woman had asked me, she asked my permission to have my daughter call her mom. And I said, okay. And the reason I said okay was because I did not want my daughter to feel like she wasn't a part of any family. You have two other people calling these people mom and dad, and so here my daughter is, calling them Eric and Tammy. No, it's okay. You want to know why? Because I know I'm going to be her mom again in my home. It's going to take place, right? And I want to share a little bit about where I'm at today. I probably don't have that much time. God you guys, this program, and the things that that I've been able to take some healthy risks on doing, right? Like you guys told me that you believed in me. You guys told me that I could go back to school. Like I was a 12th grade dropout. I got my GED when I was 33 years old. Like I was able to go back to college. I went from crackhead to counselor. Right? Like because of this program, you guys told me that I could take it even a little bit further. You told me something about this degree. And I heard, you know, this morning this woman talking about all these degrees that she had. And that was like, you know, something that I had wanted for a long time. I always wanted to have my name on it in this pretty little, there she is, in this pretty little certificate, right, that said my name on it, and like bachelor's or master's or something. And I'm here to let you know that, like, I'm working on it. I've been working on it for 5 years, but I'm working on it, right? And the end is coming, man. Listen, I have a home group today, right? I live in the Marietta area of Georgia. The Marietta area of Georgia. And they are like some of the coolest people that I have ever met in my entire life. Yes. You know, I get to live side by side with so many different people. Like live side by side, right? I'm not talking about like you're over there and I'm over here and we're doing something different. Like, no, I'm talking about me being able to do life with people. I sponsor women intimately. All right? I was taught that like intimacy means into me you see. And that goes both ways. Like I allow my sponsees to see me for who I am, at my good, at my not so good, at my crazy, because I'm in menopause, right? So I'm crazy. Woo! That little girl that I was telling you about that was in my belly, right? She's gonna be 13 in April. Wow. Yeah. She's going to be 13 in April, and she had been coming to meetings with me ever since she came out the hospital, right? And she was my little cute recovery baby. And, you know, she was saying the Serenity Prayer. She friends with all my friends. They all love her. On her birthday, which I'm grateful, you know, for the home groups that I have had, because they allowed my daughter to go up and get a key tag.
Love you, baby.
She's like, I got more time than you, Mom. I got more time than you. And I'm okay with it, right? Like, I'm okay with it. You better keep it like that. But you know what? Here's the hint, right? If it doesn't stay like that, she knows where to go.
That's right. That's right.
She knows where to come. She sees the love. She sees what I do. She sees my lifestyle. Like, this isn't something that I do. This is something that I live. This is something that I live, man. I am grateful. I am blessed. I have an amazing sponsor, right? She has an amazing sponsor, and we do this thing together.
That's right.
If you're new in the program, please, man, give yourself a break. Please keep coming to this life-saving, life-changing program of Narcotics Anonymous. I know that I am. I'm an addict named Sarah. I'm going to keep coming.
All right, Rita.
She said, all right, Rita.
Yeah.
I'm an addict and my name is Rita.
Hey, Rita. Hey, Rita.
Damn, look at all these ladies. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
But I am. Do it. I'm not going to do it. We're going to do it.
Yes.
Again, I'm an addict and my name is Rita.
Hey, Rita.
And I want to start by thanking this committee, the GRCNA, the Georgia Regional Convention of Narcotics Anonymous. I want to thank those members who believe in me
even today, many times, I still don't believe in myself. So for that, I'm ever grateful to you. I want to say I'm grateful for every woman who is sitting in these seats all over the world, because I stand here today because of your pain and your perseverance to keep the doors so a woman like me can stay. And when I say I mean that, Sarah, I love you.
I love you, baby.
If my clean date, Sarah, it's February the 2nd.
Yes.
2001. I just turned 19.
Yes.
So, you know, this is the my very first time doing a women's rap. And when Troy asked me, immediately I said, I don't qualify. So I started calling other women and said, they asked me to come to Georgia to do the women's rap. I don't qualify. A couple of them said, you got a pussy? I said, yeah. They said, you qualify. Don't get it confused, Rita. You qualify.
That's right.
You said have fun, right?
Yes.
Because I am a nervous wreck. So anyway, I can tell you how I got here, but actually you all know how I got here. And sometimes I'm going to share a little bit about, you know, the program of Narcotics Anonymous, how I got into this. But then the Spirit always take me back to right now. Because right now is the time that you can really fuck your life up clean. And you can't blame the dope no more. So you know, I'm one of them women like that. Right? Because the 8th step talks about that harm, direct and indirect, right? But we do more harm clean than we did dirty. Right? So I'm not confused about that. Because right now, I'm here so that you all can teach me this way of living without self-destructing again, trying to live in a world out there. So, you know, I come here and I do all these things here because now y'all told me with awareness comes responsibility, right? So now I'm aware. I can't blame no dope. I tried to blame y'all, and you kept talking about you ain't no victim. I said, I don't want to hear that shit. You know? But the truth is, I know how to victimize too. That's all good. So, you know, when I got here, Sarah, I didn't come here in 2001. I came in 2000, and I didn't stay. Yeah. I found ways to disqualify myself from this process because my story was not as bad as you all, even though I was living in a house with no running water, no lights, no gas, wearing my dirtiest pair of jeans that I flipped inside out because they had a group back then called Crisscross. They wore their clothes back in. You know, Mac Daddy make you want to jump, right? So I did that, you know, and my girl at that time said, yeah, I had girlfriends. Ooh, I'm just saying that so we all qualify. And I'm going to get to that today so we can understand why I'm still here today because we qualify and how I love and respect you beautiful women. Okay? So the bottom line is this. She says, Rita, you need help. And I was like, damn. You going to let me have $10? That's all I could see the help that I needed. I'm also a mother. And my babies are not a spit, so I know all about the penis. I'm the second oldest of 6 children. My mother is a very strong spirited woman. Okay, but my mother's strength did not understand my weaknesses. And in that, I went on a spiral out from a kid and didn't even know it. I used to always watch movies with the pimps, and I said, ain't nobody gonna never pimp me. Only to get clean, and I started doing the step work and realized the girl 4 doors down was 13 years old. She took me across the alley to Mr. Anderson's house because he had all the peach trees. So instead of him shooting at me for trying to steal his peaches, she took me in there, let me suck on my teeth, bite on my little bitty knobs for $5, and she kept the fucking $5. So I've been being pimped a long time.
All right.
Didn't even know it. And today I still don't like nobody touching my breast. And that's where it comes from. So someone may say, that's probably why she say she like women, she gay. That ain't it. That ain't it. Something happened a long time ago up in my mama's womb I can't explain, but God knows. Okay? He need me to know so I can be rested all right in the skin I'm in.
Yeah, that's right.
So grateful that this is not a religious program. Because the lifestyle that I lived in and live in, I would not qualify. My mother's an evangelist. And her mission today is to save me from hell. But she doesn't understand I've already been to hell. So I come to Narcotics Anonymous by way of a girlfriend, you know what I mean, and the godmother of my children, you know, and I'm going to say this to those women who are you all that have your kids. You know, my kids, you know, I looked at my children and and I look at my kids today and they're up and grown now. But when my disease really took off, when I was at the end of the road, Sarah, and I was really no longer functioning as a human being. Okay? I'm talking about with the dope. Now, because I got clean too, and I functioned not as a human being without the dope. So now, let's talk about the dope so we get to the no dope, right? So the dope led me down the road, and the government helped us kill ourselves.
Okay, come on.
And I don't want to say that with them damn Section 8s, but I like them now because I ain't got no job. I need that damn Section 8. But they enabled me to confront my youth. And I realized after being clean for a while, man, that my kids was a ticket. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It ain't nothing to even brag about, but you look at it and it breaks my heart. You understand? It breaks my heart. But then the brokenness, because Narcotics Anonymous, those cracks have healed, but the cracks are permanent, and that's why the rays of God's ever-loving life flows through my heart. Like the third step said, it's a heartfelt step. So I'm learning to get up and live in the here and now because some wonderful things are starting to happen to me as a direct result of not using. Keep coming back. Being comfortable in the skin I'm in. Okay? So my mom, she gets us out of, she was married to my stepfather. My stepfather, he was an alcoholic. He likes to fight. So I knew then as a little girl that I wasn't going to never get no man because they like to fight. And I ain't going to have no man. And when I get married to my wife, I ain't going to hit my wife. I used to think that women, as a little girl, I used to have that thought. So why would I have a thought like that as a little girl? I couldn't figure it out. So I got another program in my life that's teaching me out of another book that's helping me to understand that as long as this God knew who I was before I got here, I'm going to shit what you think.
Oh, come on. Come on.
Okay? So I go on this journey, and I'm still trying to please my mother. My mother, she did the best that she can. If you have a mama and your dads and all that, because I never had a dad. I had my stepfather, but I never had a dad, so I'm a fantasy girl. I'm a little girl who had, like my mom had 3 girls and 3 boys. Some of you all are not as old as me, so you don't know about the Brady Bunch. You know, I wanted my mama to go to the store and find Mr. Brady. So when I went to school, I could stop all that lying about my daddy touring the world. That not the real daddy. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have no father. My mother had me by a married man. So my mother had me, my mother had me by a married man. And with that married man, my mother would send me, take me down the street. She parked down the street, take me to his house. I knock on the door. And then his wife will come to the door. And she'll look at me, little girl like this. I never forget to look today. She look at me, I'll be right back. Close the door. Then my dad comes to the door. He opens the door. Hey, come on. Then he takes me to his car. He never invited me in his house. Do you know what that feels like to know that you were never even accepted? Yeah. Can you imagine how that would make a little girl feel? Yeah. So he take me in his car. He give me $25 and told me to give it to mama. I take it to mama, and that's how that was. You know, and then just growing up and believing that So my friends, they were talking about, girl, my daddy this, my daddy that. And I said, girl, my daddy too, but he around the world. I ain't no damn daddy.
Yeah.
You know, I had learned how to lie. My mother taught me how to lie. Then she started calling me, don't read to say she a liar. I said, but hell, you taught me how to lie. How did I do that? When you told me, when you hid in the closet, told me to tell the insurance man you wasn't home. And then shit worked, right? You came out all happy when you left the house, so it works, right? The lies work. Yeah. So she taught, you know, we teach our children those things. Careful when you put them in position because we don't know how that spirit is going to take over and repel in their lives down the road. You know, however, but she did. She moved us out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, moved us to California because she wanted the best life for us. And when we moved to California, I started growing up in California. She had a bright idea that I was going to be, that you're beautiful, you're going to be famous. I'm like, what she see? Because what she see, I don't see. I was going to high school. And in high school, I was trying to get in the shop. You know, they don't have those today, I don't think, in school. But I was trying to get in the shop. I wanted to get in the shop and learn how to be the best damn mechanic I could be. She talking about a damn modeling career. I didn't want to be. I didn't want all that lipstick and eyebrows. Like, I didn't want all that. I just want to get my hands dirty, Santa. Okay. But anyway, I take off and I begin to model. I end up modeling, and then modeling, when they first introduced me to the dope, is when I had my first chance to escape my reality of what my life had become. And I thought I could handle it. It became, remember when Huzanak says, at first using was fun, and then became necessary? Yeah, that's what happened. It became necessary for my survival. Like you talk about when at the end of the road, when we're no longer functioning as a human being. Well, gradually, I went from that nice drinking the Cristal and the Remy Martins and all those things. I went from that to Red Bull, Wild Hours Rose, anything come across the table, bring it on, right? I can use it. So when my life was reduced like that, I justified and rationalized the fact that I was doing all right. So see, as a model, I made $75 an hour. I went from that working for an attorney. I worked for an attorney for 11 years. And I stole every damn check I could every time I could so I could get more. You understand? So when I finally get here to Narcotics Anonymous, baby, look here. When I got to Narcotics Anonymous, I'm going up here where I am today because I like to do that. In Narcotics Anonymous, man, when I got here, when I finally surrendered to this program, because I couldn't surrender for a while, right? It would take me a minute to try to catch on the fact that y'all saying y'all addicts. I'm like, shit. Oh, that's that thing, that's that room over top of the house, isn't it? Different story. But anyway, I get to Narcotics Anonymous and I start looking at, because in that home in Indianapolis, a lot of the meetings are all in the basements. Why do you need sunglasses on in a basement? It doesn't make sense. Right? So anyway, you all said you were addicts. I said I was one. But I still didn't believe it. So I didn't stay. I ended up at a recovery house. They said don't fraternize in a recovery house. I didn't know. I didn't even look at the definition of fraternizing. I just said, okay. Boy, I came out that basement and I went to sit at the dining table. And this chick came around the corner. I like it here. And the lady looked back at me. And then I had to stay in the basement. If you're in recovery houses, it may look like a bad thing, but for real, that's the best time. I didn't understand I needed to practice humility then. I didn't know that. But I know it now. You know, because they put me in the basement and told me my chore was to stay in the basement. I had to earn my way up the steps. And I had to scoop cat shit, right? Like, man, I didn't come in here to clean nobody's cat shit. But the dope man, I cleaned it. I sucked his balls. I cleaned his dog shit up. Everything he told me to do. I even stood at my table in my house while they ate and I waited on the scraps. But I get here on this side and I'm telling y'all how I don't do all these things.
Oh, Rita. Come on.
Okay? So I get up and I get kicked out of the recovery house. They kicked us both out. Her sponsor takes her to her recovery house, and she had a safe place to land. Where do you think I landed? I landed back in my old house that Section 8 pays for. And when I left that house, remember, I had no lights, no gas, no running water. And I remember asking her and this other member to just drop me off at a meeting, man. Just get me to a meeting. And they said, okay. And they driving, but they whispered in the front. I can't hear shit they saying. But at the end of the day, they said, we changed our mind. I said, what? They said, we changed our mind. We ain't going to the meeting. I said, what am I going to do? I don't know, but you got to figure out something. I said, then just take me to my house. So I get to this house. And they hand me this little bitty ass candle. And I won't forget unlocking that door and walking in that cold, cold house. It was in December, 55 below zero. And it was cold. But I lit that little candle. See, I wasn't high yet, y'all, so I could open the blinds. Yeah, I say I wasn't high yet, so I opened the blinds. And I would tell myself just how good God was, because there was a full moon and it lit my house. And I found a way how to survive in darkness through the moonlight. Somebody knocked on my door. And there was that damn knock. And let the gates of hell prevail. And they said, girl, turn on the lights. I said, I ain't got no damn lights, but I got a candle. Look, we do it the moon, the moon, the moon. And they got me started with that one. That one, right. And then they cut out on me. Yeah. With the sounds of you all voices in my head saying, one's too many. Damn. They take off and they leave me. Now I'm on a mission. I couldn't do anything. 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm sitting there in that little candle. And then I seen that little brown thing moving like this, and I'm moving like that. And I said, well, you know what? I could just look at it like this is kind of romantic. It's the candle. It's the moonlight. And I got clean, and I was like, what the hell is romantic about a candle and some damn roaches? You know? But I look at that because, you know, today I don't have to live like that. Yeah. But today I came real close to that in my recovery process because I didn't know about all those tentacles that it talked about. You know how the tentacles come, they tap every area of your lives, and they telling me don't get in no relationship for the first year and all that old shit. And I'm like, they got somebody, I'm getting somebody. I got 30 days. I had a fantasy going on then. 30 days clean, and you know what I mean, to get a job, and I can take care of her. Yeah. Shit, I like to die, y'all. I couldn't handle it. Yeah. I couldn't handle it. And I called my sponsor. I said, she fought me at a meeting. And I said, I'm not coming back to Narcotics Anonymous. If people do this here, I'm not coming back. She said, where are you at? I said, what do you mean? I said, I'm at the park down here in Pennsylvania. She said, no, where you at, fool? Where you at in your work? I said, you got me on why you in here? She said, I know why the fuck we here. Get that step working guide out. Start reading step 1. I want you to go to get the work sound why. I want you to read it. And I need you to go to the meeting. I need you to bring it up. Get on the phone, call 10 women. Talk about the first step they're experiencing it. And you're going to get busy. Because if you don't, you ain't going to stay. Grateful for sponsorship that they're able to identify some shit like that. You understand? Yeah. And so my sponsor put me to work, and I've been working here ever since. And since I've been working here, I'm going to tell y'all something. I don't have the degrees. Never thought about a damn degree. And those of you guys are able to do that, man, it's amazing. I think it's wonderful. Because actually what Rita did, Rita brought into the program of Narcotics Anonymous. And the program of Narcotics Anonymous for me was that promise that I lean into, and that is freedom from active addiction. Yeah. To be free from that supersedes anything else, and everything else is a gift. That's right. So you know what I mean? So I came here and I stayed here, and I got a good job. I continue to work. I don't get Section 8. I don't get food stamps. I don't get any of that stuff. I work on my job. I make good money. Okay? I leave Indiana. And I moved to Arizona where my mother didn't work because now I wanted to be living in my 9th step. I wanted to be able to get to my mama. She's a lot older. My oldest brother was there. He had brain cancer. And I'm clean now. And I got 9 years. And I figured I can go there and I can help mama and show her whatever she needs to do. I can help my mother like y'all was doing with y'all mamas and y'all daddies and you know, it's all that kind of stuff. So I want to do it. I had an opportunity. I went and did it. I never consulted my sponsor on the move. I just did the move. See what I found out in that move to Arizona? Thank God for the foundation of which I come to stand and to believe in this power that's much loving and caring and greater than anything I could ever think of being or doing. Get to Arizona, my mother rejected me. My sisters told me, bitch, you ain't shit. She said, bitch, you got a daughter in the grave and a son in prison. And what she mean by that? Because in my 3rd year, I went to Dallas, Texas, Houston, Texas, actually, and I watched my daughter take her last breath from an overdose. The same disease that tried to kill me didn't get me, it got my baby. And I stayed clean in it. See, I'm one of those members that know what it's like to be in the love of the fellowship. Because we'll get a chance to experience that. You understand that? So that's why when we are talking about this little special club, I want to say this, ladies, you can keep all the clubs you got, but you ain't got not one key to lock me out of your club. Okay. I got to fucking show up, and your ass going to help me if I'm practicing the honesty, the open-mindedness, and the willingness. I ain't got to wear no damn high-heel shoes. And you have to understand this. I ain't got to put on all of this and all of that. I got enough damn masks. I don't need to add another mask to qualify to be in your club. You understand? Because see, I know what it's like. I know I'm going to tell you my experience. That's all I have. Yeah. I'm talking my experience is clean. I'm talking about feel rejected clean. Where my sponsor, who did step work with me, and told me she don't have a jealous thorn in her body. Now in my mind, I went religious on her ass. Because in my mind it said, if God is a jealous God, that means you're greater than God. And when God put through the test, her partner told her, damn, Rita is fine and sexy. What that had to do with me? My sponsor started sponsoring me. And I was lost. I felt abandoned. I didn't know what to do. You understand? I kept calling her. She wouldn't respond. You know how long I called that woman, y'all? For 2 fucking years. 2 years! Woo. I kept calling. See, I don't know about them damn expiration dates. Because my grandmother used to take expired milk and make damn cornbread. So I don't know. I don't know. Right? Nothing went wasted in our house. That's right. So that happened. And when that happened, the other sponsee sisters, they had the audacity to stop speaking to me too. Yep. Wow. So I'm going to tell you something about this so-called sponsee ship, family shit. Right. I got all the literature. And what I don't, well, Sarah got her part, mine's upstairs, and I got this. But show me in there where it said sponsee family shit for you to qualify as a member of Narcotics Anonymous. Show it to me, and I will believe you then. I believe in one tree with many leaves. And if you study trees, there's a wind gonna come and some leaves gonna fall. That's right. You understand? And if I can hold out through my due season, I've seen them change and come back even more beautiful than they were when the other ones were shedded. Yeah. So that's why I just keep coming. I don't use no dope. I love all you beautiful women. I have never ever found the need to disrespect any of you women in spite of my sexuality. I'm okay in my skin. But to me, when I whisper and tell you, good afternoon, beautiful one, I mean that because that's probably the most kindest thing your ass heard all damn day. I understand. See, I was you know, like getting all pissed off. You know, picking up a chick, and I pick her up, and then she talking to me. She says, Rita, this is Arizona. Rita, if I was going to stay in Arizona, you sure would be my partner. Because, you know, you have everything I want. I went to fucking work. I started paying her bills. I started taking her son to the barbershop. I'm trying to show you all the reasons why your ass can stay in Arizona. But what I didn't pay attention to to, I didn't want to pay attention to, where she says, I don't want a relationship. I just need a friend. My mind said, your ass said, let's go. But that ain't what she said. Because I'm going to show you we're going to be more than friends. I said, well, you know, for real, Nat, the best of friends make the best of lovers, baby. And shit we tell ourselves. For one more. Now, real quick, I'm in Arizona. Want to be accepted by my mother and them. I work for a temporary agency in my 14th year, working for a temporary agency, and I had to get unemployment. So with unemployment, I said, they asked the question, have you worked a full-time job this week? I checked the box, no. Because to me, in my mind, a temporary agency is not a full-time job because you don't have benefits. Now, in the state of Arizona, anything that's 40 damn hours, bitch, that's the damn full-time job. And they showed me that shit too when they charged me with 39 felonies. 14 years, they charged me with 39 felonies. Yeah. I was scared. Because in Indiana, if that was in Indiana, I'd have been on the news. Thank God Arizona had other shit to talk about. Because So anyway, I get down there. I did that. Look. So they sent me a letter from the Attorney General and told me to go downtown, Arizona, 7th Street. I get down there, and the lady take my ID, and they bring me in the back. I get in the back, and the guy came my ID, and he told me to stand in this black-ass curtain. I stand in the black-ass curtain. Then he had me this car with these big-ass bold numbers on it. Said, hold the car. And I said, okay. He said, no, hold it up. I said, okay. What the? And then he said, turn sideways. He said, no, turn the car back this way. I said, then he took me to that big-ass table and rolled that roller. And I said, hold up, man. Am I being arrested? He said, oh, yeah, you're arrested. He said, you're being arrested, but we're going to let you go home. And I said, yeah, they let me go home. And at the end of the day, they took all the charges away except one. They gave me one felony, a class 6 undesignated felony, and then it became very difficult for me to obtain employment, you know. And then, so, but I was still working on my job. And you know what, the thing about honesty, because I told my company exactly what I had just done. They said, Miss Rita, they call me Miss Rita today, grit some shit. You know, they say, Miss Rita, we checked what you said, and because your honesty, we're going to keep you. That's right. You are an asset. They kept me. And in 2017, they merged with another company from California, brought in new managers, and the witch came in, riding on her mighty broom, and she snipped my wing. And I was out. I ended up homeless, penniless, ended up driving a company with that Lyft company. And I met a guy, and he took me into his home to take care of his dad. His dad had dialysis 3 days a week, and I was my job to take his dad to dialysis, and then I had to shop for him. And shopping for him means I had to go and buy like 4 cases of beer a day. And all I could do was stand in that store and say, they said, if I don't pick it up, I ain't got to put it back down. He said, if I don't pick it up, you know, and now, you know, I'm talking about my clean time at stake now. And anyway, I started praying to God. I said, God, I don't know, Lord, I don't know why you got me in here, but I know that you got a plan for this. I know you got a plan. You're doing something with me here. What is it that you're doing with me here? Just help me. Just help me hold out. I went to the bathroom and peed a whole toilet full of blood. Oh, damn, I know I ain't got no period with that shit. I go to the doctor, and I had a bunch of tumors up in my bladder, and they got them out, and they were cancer. And the lady that I told you about that I said, she said hello. I thought she said let's go shit. She was moving back to Detroit, and she puts my stuff on the truck and moves me back to Fort Wayne, Indiana. I bet that sponsor got happy. But and you know, I got to Indianapolis, and whew, a friend of mine that I've been knowing for 16 years, I never knew her sister worked for a urologist. So they told me if I get to Indiana, I need to go do this treatment right away because it's against me if I don't. You know, I'm fighting against time. And I said, Pat, I need a urologist. Pat, what am I going to do? She said, my sister Marsha's going to work for one. I said, no, you don't understand what I'm saying, Pat. I need a urologist. That one, she said, U-R-E-R. I said, yeah, that one. She said, Marsha worked for one for almost 11 years. I said, what? The sister called me. They got me in. They started treating me right away. You know, I went 3 months ago. They tested me again. Still no cancer. You know. And I'm going to say this real quick, ladies. Those of you who are parents and you think you're going through something about trying to get your kids back, just let the kids ride it out. Because my children would not speak to me and wanted to have nothing to do with me until my 11th year. My 11th year. So I understand real clear that being socially accepted and reunited with our families does not fucking equal recovery. The recovery still, when I was able to still stand in the midst of the hard stabbing with my son, I said, you ain't shit, you crackhead bitch. I got my keys up there, but my son, I got a keys to his house today. And I keep his children today. The same crackhead bitch. It's about getting out the way. Y'all know what it means. I didn't know what it meant to say getting out the way. But if it had been from some of you women stand here and tell me, like my friend, she's gone now, Janice C. She used to roll with me and say, hold on, baby. She said, it's going to be all right. Because if you don't never get them back, you still got to stay clean. And when in my third year, and I had to make a decision, to take my baby off that damn machine, to watch her die. The fellowship buried my daughter. I didn't have it. My family turned on me. In the midst of all of that, my family turned on me. And I had to bury my baby. But the fellowship stepped in. And then God. I can't tell you enough about this God piece. And you ain't got to be religious to do it or get it. It's just going to happen for you anyway without your damn permission. I ain't never buried nobody before. So I get to that man told me go to the cemetery and open up the cemetery, right? I go to the cemetery and the man says it's $980 some odd. And I said, I don't have that kind of money. I thought that was involved in part of the funeral stuff. Because I thought people go to the funeral and they take everything and just bury you out there. And I ain't gonna get to pay for plots and all that old shit. See, I got that experience now, right? So I get out there and the guy says, I'll be right back. Just stay, I'll be right back. He goes outside y'all this room. I'm telling you, when a man came back in, Rita, he said, ma'am, there's a guy just came in here. And he no longer wants to plot for his wife and it's $600. I said, what? He said it's $600. The fellowship had given me, I said, I'll be right back. I went in my car and I pulled out that bag with the dollars and change and he counted them. And the damn change was $673. I called the funeral home back. I said, I got the grave open, but I don't know about your $2,800. No. Theirs was $5,000 something. He says, but I'm going to give it to you at $2,500. Can you come up with that? I said, I don't have it. Can you please tell me how I can do it? What can I take away? And let me take it away, and then you get the trustees to help me, please, because I got to bury my daughter tomorrow. He said, Ms. Carswell, we ain't taking nothing from you. We're going to leave your baby just like she is, and we're going to bury her, and we'll deal with you later. And they put my baby away from me like she was the princess she was. You know what I mean? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. You know, I'm just saying, you know, it's just so much. We can all go down this checklist. And that's so important sometimes to do that song called Reminisce. Right. Damn, reminiscing on a piece of ass. Reminiscing on those other beautiful things that happened. That's a direct result that had nothing to do with a human being. That's right. But there's power. There's much love to carry. Now I'm learning, y'all, in my 19th year. I'm learning really how important it is to be totally reliant on this God piece. Because now I'm reduced from a 2-bedroom luxury apartment to a garage. My ex that I was with for 19 years, that was a godmother to my children. She has a home, but she converted her garage into a studio apartment. I couldn't get my mind wrapped around this damn garage. Because I was still showing up on them phony ass images of what the fella do if I invite y'all over. And my little 3-year-old grandbaby, I'm talking about restoration. My 3-year-old, God used that baby to say, Granny, can I come up to your castle?
That's right.
So anyway, I just want to say this. I'm going to end up with this stuff right here, but I'm going to say this because I hear it all the time. I hear it when I'm in Indiana, whether I'm in Ohio, Arizona. It's all about the attack on the women. And that's because of the images that we set forth. You understand? If there's an issue, look at that word. It is you. Look at that hair. Because let me tell you something. How many of y'all in here have ever had a trick? Ain't none of y'all really trick for real. The trick is when he come and say, you got a partner, can you get her? And you go on the whole store and grab a little bitch off there, y'all come back. Girl, now don't you go tell nobody what I do because I'm going to say right there. No, don't you think I'm gay? But we tricked to do it for one more. So why I'm going to get in here and say I got a problem with y'all? I don't have a problem with you women.
That's right.
And when I walk in the rooms in the summertime, I'm not lying. I do. I don't look at no asses and all that. Oh, look at that. No. I be glancing around like this. Look at all of them pretty feet. They actually get their feet done today. They don't look like cement feet. Remember cement feet? That brother, we take care of ourselves. Look at me. I got my hands done today. My hands are new. They don't have that. My hands are new. Yeah, girl, it's worse than that. It could cut your skin if I touched you, right? But now it's new. It's the newness. And I'm forever so grateful. So I'm always willing to walk up to a sister. And when I say sister, I'm not talking about color or race.
That's right.
I'm talking about this power that's loving and caring and greater, ladies, that can restore me at any given moment. Yes. As long as I practice the indispensables. And that's the honesty, the open-mindedness, and the willingness. And your ass gonna help me. All I gotta do is show up. Every man go to a meeting, I sit in the meeting on my hands like this. You hear that shit? She gonna start sharing that shit with that shit again. And then she started sharing about how she went and did this, and I said, she did what? Oh, damn. Now, where can I get the humility to pick up the phone and call her and say, I really don't talk to you a lot, but I heard you share some at the meeting. Can you help me with that?
Right.
You understand? So I'm just really grateful to be here, man. I'm grateful to be clean. I know I'm out here, I ain't got my glasses on, but I still in that blur. I can still see my beautiful queen, my friend Felicia P up in here. I met her in Montgomery. And she connected with my spirit. You know what I'm saying? Wade, Mike. I mean, I can just go down the list.
Yeah.
And when they tell you we're friends, when Sarah told me she loved me, I know and I believe you. Because I'm talking about the spirit. We love the spirit.
Yeah.
We love the spirit. You can't even kill it if you try.
Come on.
And I'm just remember this. And I try to share this with you all because I have to do it for Rita. When I walk in a meeting and I know you for Rita and you walk past me, I got to try to not detach myself to that problem. That's right. I need to see, just leave it alone. Because if I sit in the seat long enough and Sharon get to Rita, I'm going to find out the exact nature why she did that. I had to get out of my self-centered shit and go to 5 other meetings holding hostage on the fact some motherfucker didn't hug me. I ain't got to do that. No. Today I'll reach out. And I'll hug you, and I love you, and I respect all you queens and your courage that it takes to stay. And I thank you men for helping me to live the Narcotics Anonymous program. Because the program is a fellowship or a society of men and women. from whom drugs become a major problem. I'm an addict named Rita C. Thanks for coming.